We had a UConn fan in our Twitter mentions yesterday yelling at us to talk about UConn's freshmen and their performances in the FIBA World Cup. Cart responded and was like, "We have, because we have mentioned it on a couple videos, but we haven't made a dedicated video for it. So here you go, angry Twitter mention. Let's talk about how great Eric Reibe and Jacob Furphy have been at the FIBA U19 World Cup. Also, I will say, I don't think we've been sleeping on it. I think we've been waiting for like a loud moment where we needed to talk about them both. And both of them were sensational yesterday in their performances. At this point, Jacob Furphy is averaging 21 points, 3.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists per game. Eric Reibe is averaging 16.5 points and 6 rebounds with even more than 1 assist a game in this event. Obviously, the German team is making a serious run in this event with Christian Andersen and Hans Steinbach in between him. But Reibe was the star, I thought, in their knockout stage game yesterday as Germany looks to make a deep run in this tournament. And Furphy's just been like arguably one of the two or three biggest winners of the whole event. If you look up lists from anyone who's been in attendance or even just people watching these games online, almost every day you'll see like 5 best performers I saw today. Jacob Furphy's been in it nearly every single day. He's been consistent, he's been productive, and it's been really fun to watch. So I'll throw it to you. I think we might be split on one of these two names, but let's start with the name that you've been most impressed by, Jacob Furphy.
Yeah, I've loved Furphy. I do have questions. What exactly will his role be at UConn this year? I mean, it's a crowded backcourt if you want to play him at the two, just between Solo Ball and Braylon Mullins. And on the wing, Jalen Stewart, Jaden Ross. I would like his chance to beat out Ross, to be honest with you. But he's got great size. I think he's listed at 6'6", 220, and he plays big as well. But I think what's really stood out to me with his size combination is his ball handling. Like he's really good at manipulating defenders. He has great at the whole stop start movements, plays with great pace, and has used that to get to the basket. He's knocking down threes. He's got that great lefty jump shot. And you see the good shooting touch in the mid range as well. Like just everything he's done in this game, you're starting to see. I hate to say I hate to say Luka Doncic because that's like a wild comp, but like Luka to me is the one who comes to mind when you think someone who plays with great pace that you're seeing some of these international players implement. I think about I don't know if you've watched Neoklis Avdilas, who's going to Virginia Tech, the Greek kid. He's the same type of way. You put the ball in his hands, and it almost looks like he's moving in slow motion, but it's just because he has great body control and is like toying with defenders. I felt that way watching Jacob Furphy play for Australia. Again, I'm not comparing him to Luka. I'm not putting those expectations on him, but I just think of a style of play that has been popularized by Luka that's clearly having an influence on some of these international prospects. I think Furphy has some of that to his game, to where when you just factor in how big he is, I didn't realize that he had this frame to go with some of the skills. There's a chance he becomes an NBA prospect. Like I've just been super impressed with him throughout this tournament.
Yeah, I have too. I mean, I think we liked him as a recruit. Like when he committed to UConn, I remember we were singing his praises. I think for a while Illinois wanted him, which is why I was really familiar with him because we thought Illinois was going to get him for a while. I still want to just go on record with this. I call bullshit that he's not related to Johnny Furphy. You're telling me both of these Furphys are this good at basketball from Australia, went to the same center of excellence school, and we're just supposed to pretend there's no connection there? Yeah, right. Somebody's lying here. Let's get the what do they call the family tree stuff out?
Yeah, yeah. The oh my gosh, what's the name of the like my something?
2022 and me or
There
something.
we go. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't
Thank
know
you.
what it is. Just somebody
Jacob and
DNA
Johnny,
this.
like, come on, Jacob and Johnny are totally brother names.
They have different faces, I get it, but it wouldn't be the first time two family relations have different faces. I'm onto your tricks, but no, I love Jacob Furphy. I've been wildly impressed. I think in my head he was going to be a rotation player for UConn this year but I didn't expect him to be a serious contender, to be like a starter or even potentially a star. I think I kind of came in being like, okay, he'll get his feet wet, play 10 minutes a game off the bench, be a good depth piece. And then maybe in year two, when we see some guys depart this program, Alex Caravan, maybe if Braylon Mullins is a one and done, maybe the door opens up and he has a breakout year. This tournament performance has completely shifted my expectations for him. And I don't want to overreact too much, but the thing for me is the efficiency's been absurd. And we've seen players like Christian Andersen with Germany, who we think are going to be college stars, be efficient in this tournament, but have a game with 30 and then have a game with like 6 where they can't make anything. Furphy's played 4 games in this tournament, 24 points, 19 points, 18 points, 24 points. Every single game he's taking 15 to 18 shots, and every single game he's between 40 and 60% from the floor. He has not had a stinker. He's relied upon to do everything. He does everything. He's getting to the rim at will. And he's a high volume 3-point guy, too. He's shooting 42% from three. He hasn't had a game with less than 7 3-point attempts in this tournament. That's just a different level of scoring prowess than I realized he had right now. I think you look at the UConn lineup next year. Obviously, they're loaded at the guard spot with Ball and Demery and Smith in the fold and Mullins even. I don't know what you do. I assume you wanted to play like Ball, Mullins, and a point guard at the 1-2-3, Caravan at the 4. But I'll just be honest, point blank. I think if you dropped Braylon Mullins on Team Australia in Jacob Furphy's shoes, I don't know that Braylon Mullins would be outperforming Jacob Furphy right now.
I'm a Braylon Mullins guy. I think Braylon Mullins would be knocking down like 5 threes a game on this team.
Which maybe
Six
that's
six
more of
sniper.
what UConn needs is like the
Right,
stand in
right.
the corner guy. But like, man, I don't know. Part of me thinks they want some of that secondary playmaking you're talking about with the
Mhm.
Lucas stuff. And I think Furphy has more of that than Mullins based on
Yeah.
what I've seen this week. This video is brought to you by NBA2K Lab.com. 2K Lab worked with us last summer as well. And they're one of our favorite entities in all of sports gaming. We want to show you their college basketball stadium locator challenge game. And I'm going to share a screen right now as we do this. South Carolina, bang. Oh,
Ooh,
okay, that's pretty good. Next, North Carolina. Why are we only getting the Carolinas?
please
Bang.
lock in.
St. John's. That's New
New
York.
York.
Bang.
Where's New Jersey?
We're on fire. Colorado. I actually don't know what state Colorado is.
It's in Colorado. There's a state of
Is that
Colorado.
this one?
It's to the right of Phoenix.
Anyway, you get the picture. This game's really fun. They've got more games as well, like Guess the NBA Player, Mystery Fantasy Draft, and more. Stay tuned for all of the college football content and games that they'll be putting together to help you get the best experience out of college football 26. Back to the video.
I think that's a good point. I think Furphy would fit really well to Demery, and I guess the strides Demery made as a 3-point shooter last year allows him to play a little more off ball. And I think, as much as I love solo ball, I think solo ball could be like literally a top 10 player in the sport this year. I trust Furphy at this point. Does it sound wild to say you trust Furphy with the ball in his hands more as like a handler, decision maker, playmaker
And
instead of the
Ball?
ball? Yeah, because
No, I don't think so at all.
I just didn't want to be too reactionary because I know Ball's about to enter his 3rd year of college basketball. It's just he's never had much of a handle. He's never been asked to show that. He's been more so of like the movement shooter, spot up guy, and he's been elite at it. But
Which I think
yeah,
is how you want him too, right? You want him
mhm,
playing the Jordan Hawkins role. You don't want him to
right.
have to do more than that. Like if you get a different guy in, then it makes it easier. I just
But it does bring up the question when you're looking at. I think Braylon's the same type of movement shooter. When you're looking at that lineup, is that how Furphy gets on the court? Is because
yeah.
like Caravan's not going to handle, like Terrace Reed's not going to handle. Are you wanting to bring a little more playmaking to the backcourt that opens up the more minutes for Furphy?
Yeah. And look, we all have UConn like fringe top 5, if not bona fide top 5 in the country preseason. But I think that was with the expectation that I talked about that Furphy's kind of a depth piece. If Furphy is like a Kasparis Yakichonis level player, which to be clear, these are Kasparis numbers in an event like this. Like he's been that productive.
Mhm.
If you have that type of player on the wing in between everything else UConn has, like they jolt right up to the Purdue and Houston territory in terms of favorites to win a national title next year. So I'm excited about it. When we do our positional rankings, sometimes we like to split it up like guards, bigs, wings. I think UConn's going to be the number one wings team in the country. If you consider
Mhm.
Furphy a wing, Mullins a wing, Caravan a wing, like I don't know who has a better group than that. And then there's the other guy. So I've loved Eric Reibe in this tournament in the most recent game against Serbia in the knockout stage. 25 points. He led Germany in scoring, 10 for 12 from the floor, even hit a three. Didn't shoot it well from the free throw line, which was a disappointment. Otherwise, it could have been a 30-point performance, but added 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. I back when he committed, I used to throw out like baby Donovan Clingan vibes, and this was before he chose UConn. I loved that he chose UConn. I see that trajectory, man. I see that trajectory in this tournament, and it's making me question the center spot again all over again. I'm going to make the mistake I made last year. You're not as much on the Eric Ribe hype train as me. I'm going to need you to explain this one to me.
I'm not a Ribe guy, and I hope UConn fans won't hold it against me after I gave glowing praise to Furphy. It's nice he had 25 points. I think he is massive. Like he is a true 7-footer, has long strides, he can get to the rim really easily because of that. Like he gets the ball in the short roll. He's at the rim in a split second. You see the shooting touch as well. I don't think his three is necessarily the prettiest, but he can make them. And like he has all that skill. I think that's the sell on him. Like, oh, he can dribble, he can pass a little bit, and he's massive. But in terms of like, will that actually translate? Not sold. And beyond that, like he plays below the rim for someone who's as big as he is. Like he's not especially explosive. I think his physicality and his toughness on defense really is lacking, and that's probably my biggest pushback against the Klingon comp. I just don't see him ever being the type of rim deterrent that Klingon was. Even to this is outside of what he's done at the World Cup, but I can't shake Cam Boozer repeatedly stuffing him in a locker out of my mind at the Nike Hoop Summit. And I get Cam Boozer might be one of the 5 best players in the sport, but if you're going to UConn, a program that's won 2 championships in the last 3 years, that's going to be your expectation is to hold your own against those types of players. And he looked like a mid-major player against Cam Boozer. And
It's Cam Boozer. Like, why are we holding them against Cam
it's
Boozer?
UConn though. You're supposed to be the UConn backup big. You have to be able, you have to at least deter him from getting to the rim and not get put into the basket.
The UConn backup big in your mind is supposed to hold up well against Cam Boozer?
I think he's supposed to look like he belongs. Like, don't just let him get to the rim at will. It was like
Man.
Cam
Okay.
Boozer facing up for the short corner, baby food every time he looked at Eric Ribe. And that's a big reason why I'm gonna like temper some of my expectations here for what he could do defensively. And I think when we're talking about Dan Hurley here, the guy who's a maniac, he's gonna want his backup big to at least be competent on that end. And that scares me that he's not gonna be able to stay on the floor because of the defense.
I think he's their best defensive center right now, to be honest, which I mean, I don't know. You guys know where I stand on Terrace. He had a good year last year down the stretch, but also wildly inconsistent the entire time, which is the whole Terrace Reed experience. Look, fast forward to November or December, whenever it is, I can't wait for you to see the North Carolina bigs try and handle Cam Boozer. If this is how we're holding the standard of guarding Cam Boozer to them, wait till you see Jaron Stevenson try and take on that challenge. Look, Ribe is not the most physical. I'll give you that. Even Terrence Oglesby, colleague of ours, friend of ours, who was in the gym for some of these games, he tweeted out after I think one of the first games he had 15 and 4, and he was like really solid showing. Would like to see him be a bit more assertive when attacking the basket. I have no doubt Hurley will fix that. I do think physicality is fair. He doesn't exactly go up and dunk everything with force right now. He plays like he's still growing into his 7-foot frame. Defensively, I would push back. I think his length alters a lot of shots at the rim, even if he's not swatting them as emphatically as Donovan Clingan is. But importantly to me, even if it's not there yet, I think it's something as he puts on more muscle and just gets a little stronger, he will grow into. I don't think anything about the way he plays the game is like overly soft. It's just almost ahead of schedule. It's like a 6'9" guy happened to be 7 feet and he doesn't know what to do with it yet. That's what I see. More importantly, the skill stuff offensively is absurd for what he is. I do think he can step out and shoot. I think he's got a good arsenal of footwork down low, hook shot stuff that's just very advanced for someone of this size. And look, I don't know who's going to start. UConn fans will probably tell me it's guaranteed to be Terrace Reed, whatever. I still think in Hurley's mind, the best case scenario here would be that Terrace is your bench big because I think he's an awesome bench big. If Terrace has to be a starting center, I don't think he's an awesome starting center. That requires Eric Reibe to be incredible in order to overtake him, and I don't know if he will be or not. But regardless of whether he does or not, I think it's fair to say this. UConn has upgraded their center spot a ton. From Samson Johnson and Terrace Reed to this 7-foot McDonald's All-American that's putting up 25 in the FIBA event and Terrace Reed in year 2, I think you're going to feel like you have much better play. Anything to add or no? Or are you just like, get me out of here?
The hook shot's nice, the rip throughs are nice. I don't want to completely sell him short of the offensive skill. He's a top 40 recruit in the class. I get he's like I just want to have realistic expectations and I just want him to play a little bit bigger.
Okay, that's fair. You taking Jaron Stevenson or Eric Reibe?
Stevenson
Oh
for
my God, Riley.
Stevenson can guard. He can't do anything on offense, but he can guard.
I think you assuming Reibe can't guard is not accurate. That's my read. It's finesse, fine, but come on, come on. Yuck. UConn fans, I'm sorry. Go now you can be mad at him and not me for a year. This is good.